morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pitch Track Chronicles. I am Tess. I'm here with Donald and Rob, and joining us today is our special guest from Big Blue in the Bronx, Donald's co-host, Alex. Alex, how have you been?
Well, it's always fun to come back on here with the fellas and talk some baseball. I've been doing well. Our channel is growing on our end. Hope you guys can obviously do the same. You guys are very close to 300, and it's always great to come on and talk baseball. But why not? And when better to do it is when the Yankees are actually winning games. So happy to be here.
Nobody wants to bounce around and guest spots on shows when everything is just going to shit. You want to at least have something to celebrate about the get-togethers. But what has been your take on the season so far?
So one player that's really impressed me this far, I mean, Judge is obviously doing his thing. Garrett Cole has been absolutely dominant throughout his first two starts, I've noticed. Obviously we saw Johnny Brito. We'll see what happens with this Josh Donaldson injury. But someone who's really impressed me that I wanted to trade, and I'm still middle of the road with it because there's like a one or the other type of thing, is Gleyber Torres. They're allowing him to hit more opposite field now. Yesterday he had 2 RBIs. He was 2 for 3. So he's really putting it on to start the season. And I think the thing I'm just waiting for is consistency. And if he builds that consistency, well, maybe the Yankees find a spot for him long term, or they deal him for a better guy. Now, if he's not dealt at the deadline, I think it's Peraza, but we'll see as things go down the line there. The bullpen scares me just a tad, but anyway, Gleyber Torres is my main standout for the New York Yankees this far.
Yeah, I know we saw just last night, Loaizaga, put us in a little bit of a nervous situation when he got out of it. Only gave up the one run. But, sometimes when relievers, Loaizaga seems to be that guy that's more comfortable coming into a clean inning than with somebody on. Okay. I think that's where he's his most dominant. So that's on both.
Same with Mike King, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. No, King definitely. King is a clean inning guy. I think Marinaccio is a guy that could handle what runners on. He just seems very poised. Nothing phases him. But I think that definitely Torres has been the talking point of a lot of the shows, because a lot of us were talking about the possibility of him having to be traded to make room. And when he has the start of the season like this, there's no reason to even think about dealing him at this point. He's become an asset to this lineup. He even stole another base yesterday, going from second to third. So he's been. I have no issues. There's no complaints about Gleyber. Yeah, there's no way you could poke a hole. We went over this yesterday with Rob and I. We were talking about how much of a benefit he's been. And so it's just it is what it is. He's been great. And with Cole, a lot of I was listening to the NYYST podcast yesterday, and they had made a great point about Cole and the pitch clock. And Cole no longer has time to get into his own head, which may be a big contributor to why he's been so dominant in his first two starts. What do you guys think of that?
Well, I mean, I mentioned that after his first start, it seemed like the pitch clock was a good thing because he was just zipping the fastball and just trying to hit it. And that's what it looked like yesterday again. He's just I'm just going to throw it, and if you can hit it, great. If not, I'm doing my job. And it was just pitch and catch with him and Trevino. And it has been his first couple of starts. So I think if it benefits anybody on this staff, it benefits Cole because like you just mentioned, he can get in his own head. When he gives up one mistake or there's an error and he blows up. So yesterday he was just I'm not going to – the only thing that obviously bothered him was the pitch clock violation. You could hear him clearly yelling, "This son of a bitch," or "God damn it," whatever it was. The hot mics picked it up. But no, he's been fantastic so far. I love what I'm seeing from Cole because last year in the playoffs, he shut us all up that were doubting him. We were like, well, he's been kind of shaky in the regular season. Then he had a great playoff, and we're like, all right, you do your thing. Whatever you do, Cole, you do you. And so far, he has been an ace. 2 starts in, he's been an absolute ace, shut down, and he's looking like Garrett Cole, which is a great sign because it feels like people were doubting him. going into the season, is like, oh, I don't think he's a top 10 pitcher. I don't think he's top 5. And just last year, you're like, it's a top 5 guy. And Garrett Cole's like, here to remind you, I got this contract for a reason. So far, so good.
Right. So first of all, we have to do a little bit of admin. So everyone in the chat got to hit the like button, right? That's the first and foremost, right?
Yes.
And everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining. D-Rod, great to see you. 4Train Express, great to see you. FJ, great to see you. What it do? So yeah, hit the like button. That helps our algorithms and all these kind of things like that for YouTube, so we can get this more content out to more people. So that would be really appreciated. Garrett Cole. Freaking incredible, man. He is on fire. He's just so his pitch, his location's fantastic, first of all. His velocity is already right there, right out the gate, hitting 100 in April. So that's awesome to see. You know what? I thought it was very unfortunate for him that he got charged a run against him for the miscommunication between him and Trevino that led to a walk, and then Loaizaga came in, and I don't think Loaizaga looked that great when he came in. He looked better the next inning, but when he initially came in, he really struggled to locate his pitches, but Garrett Cole wise, awesome. His first start was historic. Second start, excellent. He was even more efficient with his pitches actually in the second game, I thought. And he got some quicker innings. That was good to see too. So I helped him go a little bit deeper in games. So there was a lot to be positive about. Garrett has really been standing out to me. And the next massive standout to me is Gleyber Torres. This is a new dude. Like he's like stealing bases like nothing on earth right now, batting over 400. I've got his statistics right here. Gleyber Torres is batting 421, 560 OBP, and a 1,300 OPS, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 6 walks that stood out to me, and 5 stolen bases, and only 2 strikeouts. And obviously Aaron Judge is having an insane start to the year, but he's got 10 strikeouts. Torres has only struck out twice, so I like that. 5 stolen bases, just 1 stealing. So this is a new Gleyber Torres that I was not aware of that we had, that he could actually run the bases like nothing on earth. So that's been a real positive, and batting over 400, 1,300 OPS, that's terrific as well. So there's all the stats are there, and also the eye test. I think he just looks very comfortable. I wonder whether the WCBC has helped him, because it seems to be already in mid-season form before in April, which is really good to see. And I wonder maybe the major competition of playing the WBC has actually helped push him on a little bit. That's just my contention, possibly.
No, I think I was going to be my next follow-up point to this whole thing is the WBC. You're hearing a lot. I think Kay had said it, and I know John Sterling definitely brought it up, that he looks like a more mature, focused player, and he is attributing that to the WBC, hanging out with other players where he was just absorbing a lot of information from veteran players that were on site. And he just seems to be coming back into the MLB with just a new focus. And this is the result of it. And there's really nothing to complain about. That's actually a very positive thing if it is really contributed to him playing in the WBC.
Yeah, agreed.
So as for me and Garrett Cole, I kind of going to take off 4Train's Express thoughts. I think this is the best version of Garrett Cole that we've seen thus far. This has only been 2 starts, so obviously the sample size is very low. But he looks very much into it. And, I'm not a guy that's for the pitch clock, but he doesn't have time to get into his own head. Like, he doesn't have time to focus on that stuff. If I'm being completely honest or completely transparent, as we say on our channel, I think he should have been left in yesterday after the pitch clock violation.
I agree.
Like, have him overcome that adversity, because, there are times this season where he has overcome adversity, but, there used to be those times last season without the pitch clock that he would get in his own head. So let's see if he can get out of this. And you know what? If he doesn't get out of it, the run is on him. If he does get out of it, hey, listen, whatever. But obviously they put in Loaizaga. but obviously, I guess they'll lengthen it out when we go when it goes down the season and stuff like that. And I also as well, I just want to point out that when the Yankees aren't screwing with certain players, they seem to be fine. Garrett Cole,
Point.
Gleyber Torres, he's hitting more opposite field, which is his niche. He's not a pull hitter like they wanted him to be. IKF to a certain point, obviously center field is not great for him. But the third base, other than that throw that he made yesterday, that was the error and it hit Trey Turner, I thought he looked pretty good at third. And I think that potentially with Donaldson, if he does go on the IL, I don't think they'll call up Peraza. I think they might have a rotation with him and DJ at third.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would like for them to call it Peraza, but I think it solves their clutter problem.
How you doing? How you doing?
Man, how's it going? But no, I think it'll give them a chance to solve the problem of having too many players. They'll just slide him into third base. But with Cole, when you were saying how taking him out right after the violation, I think that because he was coming out after that batter anyway. They were ready. Loizaga was ready to go. So I think that was inevitable, regardless of the outcome of that at bat.
What's the panel's thoughts on the bullpen so far?
I would say, for a quick thought, middle relief is doing better than the back end. Like Marinaccio is doing better. Shout out to Jigga, man. It was great meeting you, man. But Marinaccio, he's been good. King, I'm giving time because he's coming off of a serious injury. Clay Holmes looked better yesterday. That's good because he's building confidence, which I like to see, out of our supposed closer. Loizaga is a little shaky. So I would say the middle relief has done better than the back end overall.
Yeah,
Rob?
go ahead.
No, I agree with that. I think we got to give King some time because there was thought that he might not even be ready for the season. So the fact that he's out there pitching is a good thing. And Aaron Boone said he thinks it's more of a mechanical issue, maybe a dead arm situation. They don't think he's hurt, but if he is, they need to get on top of that quickly and IL him for as long as it takes to get him healthy. But if they can work through it, then you'd rather kind of go through that trial process in April than have it happen in July or August. And Holmes, I think, will be okay. If he pitches like he did yesterday, we're not going to have to worry. Loizaga struggled last year, too, so you got to wonder if maybe his stuff is just a command because his stuff is filthy. Alex Bregman said he's the toughest pitcher he's faced, and Alex Bregman's a damn good hitter, trash can or not. So he's got the stuff. We know Loizaga's got the stuff. I think he'll be better. And we're just waiting for Canely. When we get Canely back and Trevino was great last year. We can't forget that. And we got to, once we got a fully healthy bullpen, but so far Cordero's been fine, but I think the middle relief has been better. Maybe that propels them into a better role. Maybe Marinaccio kind of gets those eighth innings to lead to Holmes. And while they let King work through it and maybe the sixth or seventh, something like that. At the same time, though, we could see a bullpen day because the game got delayed today till tomorrow. There's a chance now that we see a bullpen day, and you got to wonder who's going to get the ball there. So far, I'm not really worried about the bullpen. It's only 5 games in, but there's some key guys that we want to see get going quicker than normal, and that's King and Loizaga.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about King because I think he's working back from injury. You can see that his velocity has dropped down about 3 to 4 miles per hour. Especially on his fastball, and although saying 3 to 4 miles per hour just verbally doesn't sound like much, but actually in terms of baseball, it means a whole damn thing. And you can see that the other teams are starting to square up on his pitches pretty easily right now. So I wouldn't put him in dirty innings anymore. I think that was a huge mistake from Aaron Boone. The other day and that loss, I would never have done that. When me and Luca were doing the live stream on the Big Blue in the Bronx channel, I said it at the time. I was like, I would not have done this move. I wouldn't have put King in a dirty inning, and that's exactly what happened, and it went wrong, and then kind of the game blew up a little bit. So I think in order to get King his confidence, I think you need to put him in a clean inning, in a situation right now where it's kind of non-pressure, and build up his confidence a little bit. But you need to get his velocity up. Now, obviously, it's April. Not everyone is throwing rockets right out of the gate in cold weather. So you could probably see him maybe ratchet up his velocity once he gets. Let's knock on wood that there's nothing physically wrong with him, but I am concerned with King. There's something with his velocity and his mechanics which I'm not liking. Loizaga, I think is fine, but I agree with Tats there. I think he is also a clean inning guy right now. I think the guys that really jump out to me right now that I'm fully confident in is Wandy and Marinaccio. I would even hazard a guess that Marinaccio might end up being a future closer. I've got a lot of faith in him, and I like his moxie on the mound as well. I think he's got a lot of confidence on the mound. That's what I kind of like to see in a closer. I don't get that from Clay Holmes, and Clay Holmes is still very inconsistent because his previous outing prior to yesterday was a disaster. He looked freaking awful, but he was very, very good yesterday. So, again, I want to see a little bit more consistency from Clay Holmes. I'm very concerned about the fact that he only has one pitch that has questionable location. That's something that kind of raises an eyebrow for me. Like his sinker, when it's dominant, it's a power sinker, Chen Ming Wong sinker, but if he can't locate it, then he doesn't really have a go-to pitch after that. And it leads to him leaving pitches up in the zone and then getting tattooed. So I am actually a little concerned about the bullpen. I'm not concerned about the starting rotation. I think everyone in the rotation has done fine. Herman looked the worst of the five, but even still, it wasn't that awful. So he was fine. But Garrett Cole was terrific. Nestor Cortez was terrific. Brito was terrific. Clark Schmidt wasn't great, but again, he looked okay for large portions of his outing. So I'm okay with the starting rotation. Bullpen aside, though.
I think it's important. I think it's important that you mentioned King needs to get into clean inning now because last year he was the guy that got you out of those tough spots.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt, he was the guy that would clean up the mess. If there was a lot of mess on the base pads and there was one out, you're like, well, bring in King, and he was going to get you out of it. How many times did Chapman? Was it early in the season? Chapman walked the bases loaded, nobody out. You're like, this game is over. King came in, boom, got out of it. So that's what King was doing, fully healthy. But he is working his way back. So the best way to do that, give him clean innings at the start, and then once he's ramped up and ready to go, like he once was, then you can bring him in those nasty innings and get him out of the jams. But right now, he needs to be a clean inning guy. But down the line, when he's 100%, he can be that guy that gets you out of those tough spots.
Yeah, no, that's why with King, I just think once he gets into maybe his 10th start, his 10th appearance, we're going to start seeing the King of old because he is, we haven't seen a reliever come in and be able to shut it down like that since Robinson. Robinson was the perfect, Houdini bullpen guy. And King kind of took that mantle from him yesterday, last season, like you were saying, with all Chapman's jams. King was that guy that came into the dirty inning and got us into the next inning or just got us the win. Picking up the save, bailing out Chapman over and over again. With Loizaga, I think it's a little more tricky, and I'm going back to this comment here from D-Rod because it brings up a good point. If the WBC was messing with Loizaga, and maybe it did have the opposite effect than what it did with Torres. Maybe having to amp his arm up that early just messed with him, especially when he was trying to fix some of the problems he was having from the previous season. So maybe he did force himself to be ready too quick. So it just might take him a little bit more time to get back into the Loizaga that we were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's still we're 5 games, 6 games. Yeah, it's still very early. So to say that this will be the constant with him all season is just not fair. We got to wait. Now, if we're going into May, middle of May or end of May to June, whatever, and he's still struggling, much like last year, then you got to consider maybe it's a time to just. Cause I think he's still got options. Maybe you send him down, work on some stuff because you can't keep having that. Let's try it out at the major league level because if he's costing you games, you got to do something because you can't have it happen all season long. But for now, you can be patient. But if you get to a month, 2 months into the season and it's still happening, you can't do what they did with Chapman and keep using him in those big spots. You got to either bring him in a different spot in the game, try to get his confidence back, or just send him down and work on something in Scranton because, again, can't be losing games because of your bullpen. That's supposed to be our strength. Even with the injuries, it's still a strength for this team. They just got to get some guys back to their norm.
Yeah, and it's just a really shitty situation because we really need our bullpen to be, as dominant as we're expecting it to, or the potential is to be there, because we still, as good as and Donald pointed out, as solid as the rotation has been, with the exception of this, game 2 with Schmidt, which I'm not worried about Schmidt. I think that was just first game, a first game hiccup for him in the rotation. He's coming out behind Cole after what he did. How am I going to match that? I think he got in his own head a little bit, but we know his stuff is fine. He's going to be a solid guy in the rotation. We need the bullpen really to be almost just shut down. It's impossible to hit. It's going to take. I think it's just going to take a little while. The next thing I wanted to bring up is the situation with Donaldson and if he is going on the IL. We have had discussions where, all right, what do we do with all these infielders? What do we do? Well, we were stuck with IKF as a backup outfielder. Do you think this, we had said last week, with all the log jams, that sometimes as the season progresses, these problems seem to fix themselves. Do you think this is going to be this is that situation? Donaldson may go down with his hamstring. We don't know if he's going to go on the IL. Does this give that window to kind of free up that logjam?
I think what they do, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I mentioned the first part, definitely. The second part, probably didn't mention. The first part, I think they do some sort of a rotation between IKF and DJ LeMahieu. I think LeMahieu is more refined to get that role, though. I think that LeMahieu gets more reps at third. I don't know if Donaldson's going to go on the IL. I think they're going to hold it out, to be honest, because this is the Yankees. They still kind of make stupid decisions. I think they'll hold out Donaldson to as long as possible. But I think what they do, and people are asking, well, would they call Peraza? No, they won't, because I think that's kind of a last resort effort, and it's not even a position that he's kind of prone to play. So I think they actually call up Johnny Brito again once he's ready, and kind of use that spot for an extra pitcher, because then again, calling up Brito obviously is needed, and we need pitchers because our starting rotation is very depleted right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't call up Peraza right now. I wouldn't call up Peraza right now, even though I'm a huge Peraza fan. Yeah. I'm not doing it just yet because also puts a little bit of pressure on Volpe because he's actually a natural shortstop, and Volpe is still kind of looks like he's finding his feet a little bit still at short. Like he's, for the most part, he's actually been very, very good, but like he looked a little shaky in the recent loss in Herman's start, and so. I don't want to put him under unnecessary pressure to have a natural shortstop playing third, and the question being, why isn't he playing shortstop? You know what I mean? So let's just keep it as it is, okay? And let's give DJ LeMahieu the third base role. It actually kind of solves a lot of our problems because at the moment we're rotating a little bit too much, so it might actually help us a little bit, get a little bit of consistency. DJ LeMahieu's been excellent to start this year, and he should be playing every day anyway. Gleyber Torres, don't have him sit. He's fantastic. Now you've got it sorted. He can play second. DJ LeMahieu play third. Volpe play short. Rizzo first, and we have our catcher. And to be honest, that's an excellent infield. So there's really no real need to have Peraza in just now. I think the only way you're going to get Peraza in is if they make a trade and get rid of Josh Donaldson or something like that, or IKF and free up some of the logjam. But at the moment, I would have IKF as a utility backup third baseman, and I don't know if I want to see him play center field again, to be honest, after that diving miss in center field the other day. So I don't know if he's quite ready for that. I think he's a backup third baseman. He made one really nice play where he kind of backhanded it and touched the bag just in time. Yesterday, I thought that was a very, very nice play. So, like, he's got it in him. He's a much better third baseman than he is a shortstop or center fielder. Let's be fair. But I think it actually solves a lot of our problems. Plus, Josh Donaldson's looked kind of shit this year. This whole leg kick thing, I think, actually isn't that much of a big deal with him. Like, this dude's just old and toast. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's batting 125, 6 strikeouts. He had 1 home run, just 2 hits and 16 at bats. Between him, Hicks, and IKF, Donaldson has the only hits of the 3. I think they're 2 for 33 combined. Yeah. So, listen, I think it actually helps us that Josh Donaldson's hurt. Sorry, don't wish any injury on anyone, but it actually helps us a little bit.
It solves
solves a little bit of that stuff, and again, it stops us over rotating, which Boone's been doing the last couple of games. Don't need to do that now. We've got a set infield. Let's go and see how they cook together. And I think it'll be really, really good. Touch on DJ LeMahieu, man. He looks phenomenal. He's batting over 300. Got a home run a couple of RBIs, and I think he's looked terrific. So it's great to see DJ LeMahieu back to who he is, which is just one of the best hitters in baseball.
Yeah, and I think the best thing for them to do is put LeMahieu at third base. Just let him fill that spot. Leave IKF on the bench. Because that means that your fourth outfielder, rather than using IKF, we're going to be forced to see a lot more of Hicks. So who would you prefer to see on the field? You know, as bad as IKF made that play look at third, at center, at least, you know, he's not the one that's been crying. You know, he's not complaining and bitching for playtime. He's just like, just put me wherever you want me to play and I'll do my best. You know, we went into that. But I would rather see LeMahieu at third, because I think if you have LeMahieu next to Volpe, you're going to see improvements immediately in Volpe's range, because they're going to feed off each other. And he's going to learn a lot from LeMahieu, with DJ being able to whisper tips to him. I think that would be the best thing for Volpe, is for LeMahieu to take third while Josh is out.
I mean, Donaldson was always is still a good third baseman as well. So, I mean, he could learn from Donaldson. Let's not forget that. But no, there's no need to call up Peraza now, because if Donaldson's out for the minimum 15 or whatever it is now, I think it's 10 or it's 50, it doesn't matter. Even if he's out for the minimum amount of days on the IL, if you call up Peraza just to sit on the bench again, it's not going to do anything. So there's no reason to call him up. If they don't call up Brito, like Alex mentioned, then they maybe give a shot to a guy like Jake Bowers, who's killing it so far in Scranton. He could be a DH. He can play the outfield or first base to back up Rizzo a little bit. He's a lefty, I believe. So you might get a chance to see his bat if they call up another bat. I mean, no, if they call up Peraza, he'd have to be playing every day, and there's nowhere to put him. Still, even with the injury to Donaldson, he's not a third baseman. Sorry to tell you, Li, he's not a third baseman, so they're not going to put him at third. So that's just not happening. There's no reason to call him up. Unless Donaldson's out for the season, then they can shift some stuff around. But even then, you still have to worry about Torres. Where are you going to put him? Because he's not a very good DH. He's better when he plays the field. So right now, even with the injury to Donaldson, Peraza's still blocked. So they're not going to call him up, nor should they, because he still hasn't looked great yet in this in AAA. But he's going to be fine down the line. We'll see him again. They just have to figure out how long is Donaldson out for. And if it's a few days and they just don't IL him and they go with LeMahieu at third, and then when Donaldson's back, he'll get his spot back, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had Sunil here puts in this comment that he actually agrees with me, which not a lot of people do. But he also but
that's why I had to highlight it.
Yeah, I don't get many of these. But no, keeping his legs healthy. This is a short-term fix while JD is going to be on the IL if he goes on it. It's not like I'm saying just leave him on the field for the rest of the season. It's just to plug a need right now.
TC Steele likes Rob's idea of Jake Bowers. Yeah, it was a good suggestion right there.
How do we know? Because they're not even working him out at third base.
He's not playing third. That's how I know. What other answer do you need?
Leg kick. You seen my leg kick, Donald? Is a Johnny Lawrence Cobra Kai leg kick. Yes, loving the Cobra Kai reference. Yeah, I bet you have a Johnny Lawrence leg kick, no doubt. No doubt.
Right. I just don't understand. Why would you move? Now I'm stuck with this Peraza thought. Why would you move a player to a position that he's not even learning how to play or working on? They sent him down to work on his playing second base and get his bat up to speed after he had the procedure with his eyes. That was his big problem in the spring. And we also let's not forget into the mix we have Cabrera that could always fill in at third base.
Right. You can't forget those players. And now if they want to put Peraza at third at some point, fine, if you want to try him out. But I'm just going by what the Yankees have said. It's not my opinion, or I'm not saying that LI is wrong for thinking that Peraza could play third base. I'm sure he could. But the Yankees have literally stated the future infield, middle of the infield, is Volpe and Peraza. They never mentioned Peraza or Volpe playing third base. They tried them out before in the spring, but Volpe's a shortstop right now. And when they sent Peraza down, they're going to have him play short and second. They never mentioned third. So could it happen at some point? Yes. But as of right now, they're not playing him at third base. So there's no need to keep bringing it up. Let's play him at third base because they're not doing it yet. So once they start doing it, then you can say, ha, told you so. But for now, it's not happening. It needs to be at the end of the Peraza discussion. He shouldn't be here until they have an actual spot for him.
I got to ask, do I look like a big green ogre?
Maybe the voice, I guess.
It might be the accent.
I mean,
I don't think I sound like Shrek. I really don't.
Well, I mean, if you put it into an act, I don't know. But to kind of reference
KTF anyway.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm scratching my head about.
I'm like, yeah. But someone mentioned this in the chat. I think it was FJ. Probably not going to call up Andre Chaparro because he's not really a third baseman. He's more of a first baseman, and his defense isn't really that good. He's more of a DH type, and that's kind of what we saw in spring training. I mean, he does bring the power. I like Chaparro. I actually that was one of my first autographs was from Chaparro about 3-4 years ago. But yeah, they're probably not going to call him up to play third base.
Yeah, and our resident Met fan Nick, he chimes in. He's like, Yankees are in win now mode. I don't think bringing up rookies too early is not a move World Series teams do. If Donaldson is out long term, make a trade for a veteran third base with a little bit of power. Well, that's our problem. Our veteran third baseman can't play. He's not contributing with any power. So why rinse and repeat and bring in another veteran that's not going to get anything done when we already have enough? We already have a logjam. We were talking about that before, and in case you didn't catch it. Yeah. We already have the pieces already called up that we can use. So why go out and waste money and assets, in the prospects for somebody that's just going to need to be here for a couple of weeks?
Right. We already have about 3 third basemen. I'm sorry, because IKF can play there.
Yeah.
Cabrera can play there, and LeMahieu can play there.
And it's not even like the legitimately worst position that's like long term. Like for instance, we talked about infield, right? There's a log jam. If you play guys at the certain positions, it will be fine. The real problem, if you want to speak offensively, is the outfield. Left field, and I mean Bader's. I don't know how long Bader's going to be out, but you can't have. I don't like Waldo in left field, but I guess it's better than having Aaron Hicks. I mean, that's once again another move that the Yankees won't make is probably at least until the deadline, trading for an outfielder. But I wouldn't pack up all of my prospects or maybe a Gleyber Torres or somebody else to go trade for another third baseman. I just don't really see the point in that.
No, I don't see them making any adjustments in the outfield until Bader comes back. I think what they're going to do is they're going to wait until he comes back, see what the chemistry is looking like, and at that point they'll make a move.
Right. There's no need to rush anything yet because you can still. I mean, they probably have to clear a 40-man spot, but if you can get Bowers up here, let him play left field a little bit, or if you want to put Stanton in left and have him play right, whatever, he can back up first base. He's got the power swing tailor-made for Yankee Stadium, and I think we should see it. If it's for the minimum 15 days, why not? You know, and if he shows out, then you have a good problem on your hands. But we know once Bader is back, it's most likely Cordero that's getting cut from the team. Although it should be Aaron Hicks, they got to find a way to get rid of him because Cordero got another hit yesterday, I believe, and Cabrera hit very well yesterday, so he's looked better.
He's been seeing the ball better because, like, opening day, he had 4 strikeouts.
Right.
Now he's seeing the ball better. I think that's a really good improvement.
Right. So at some point, they have to move on from the crybaby, and Michael Kay can spew any nonsense he wants about how we're wrong, about how dare he. And I know Pete went off about it yesterday.
Oh, yes,
how dare you? How dare you compare Aaron Hicks to Anthony Volpe? Like, there's 2 different scenarios here. Volpe is a rookie. He's a 21-year-old rookie. If he struggles at the start 5 or 6 games in, yeah, we're going to be patient because we were asking to see him. Not a single one of us here on this panel today or in the chat was begging to see Aaron Hicks start the season with this team. None of us wanted him. It's been 4 years that the guy has been either hurt or terrible, and yet all he does is complain like he's been something special. He hasn't. We're done with it. We're not going to be patient with the bad player. The Yankees have to eat their losses here. Just get it over with. If someone wants to take him, which I doubt, then do it. But you have to move on. There's no need to keep catering to this guy's needs because he's not helping you. He's not helping you at all. That's the difference. Cabrera and Volpe, and if Peraza was here, and same with Dominguez, we're going to be patient because we wanted to see the kids. We don't want to see Aaron Hicks. That's why we're booing him every time he comes to the plate, and he fails, and all he does is go say, I want to play more. Well, why should you play more? You're not good.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I mean,
that was it.
To bring up 2 small points, number one is I've seen a lot of defense of Aaron Hicks, and it's just like we've been seeing the same, even though, like, whatever, 5-6 games in, there's no, like, where can you go? You can't. How do I put this? He can't get better than what he is because he's limiting himself, mentally, emotionally, all that sort of stuff, and he's complaining, and obviously people coming out, this, that, and the other thing. So there's one point. The second point is that at the NY News TV Day event this weekend, I was told by somebody that the Yankees could have traded Aaron Hicks to the Rockies. Who didn't want to do that? Brian Cashman.
Of course.
Because
That was an April Fool's joke, though. Wasn't that not an April Fool's joke?
No, we all thought the April Fool's joke is when on the first when they had IKF playing center.
No. There was a post. I think I saw that post, and it was posted on April 1st, and I believe that was a joke. So I don't know who gave you that false information, Alex, but someone was yanking your chain there. Because I highly doubt the Yankees would be like, you know what, we want to keep him, because they tried to trade him several times this offseason, and nobody wanted him.
Yes, yeah, Hicks for Blackman.
Yeah, listen. To touch on that Michael Kay thing, it's an insult to the fans' intelligence.
Again.
It's cherry picking a certain very small sample size of Anthony Volpe and Aaron Hicks, and then comparing the two. That's comparing apples and pears. These are comparing 2 completely different situations. You're comparing a 33-year-old who's been legitimately bad for 5 straight years, who's getting paid $10 million to do nothing, and give up on the game, give up on the team, and cry and whinge about Aaron Boone, about management, about his role, right from the jump. Right from the jump. He missed the first 4 games, and he was already pissing and moaning. And then he was pissing and moaning after he wasn't really a factor in the playoffs or the stretch last year. You're comparing that situation with Anthony Volpe, who was literally born with a Yankee cat on his head, his dreams of being a Yankee, and has done everything in his power to become the shortstop of the Yankees moving forward, and he's achieved that goal. And he's a rookie. So how could you possibly compare the two sample sizes and make it out like Yankee fans are this evil bunch of no good guys that just boo and then hiss at wonderful people like Aaron Hicks, and it just insults our intelligence as a fan base. And again, I have a major issue with the voice of the Yankees going after the people that listen to him. I mean, who helps to pay the wages of the New York Yankees? It's the Yankee fans. Sorry, because we go to all these games. We sell out every single day. Yes, there are some fans who are lunatics, but it's the same with every fan base all over the world, whatever team, right? There's always going to be that bad bunch, right? But by and large, from my experience, Yankee fans are passionate, knowledgeable, and incredibly loyal. And to be sat here and be demeaned and to be ripped apart by the voice of the Yankees, I have a major issue with that. I just do not support that, and I don't think that happens with any other team. I don't think the voice of that team goes after the people that listen to him. It just doesn't make sense. Now, Michael Kay is a very, very smart man. He's a business man, and he's a company guy, and he knows more baseball than any of us combined has forgotten, because he's been with the team every day for God knows how many decades. So he knows his shit. But the fact that he's now, and it's only been recently, I've noticed this, but about the past year, that he's really just focused his ire on the Yankees fans. And that wasn't the case in previously, because I used to listen to his show every day. And then as soon as I started to listen and all he did was get in his soapbox and go after Yankee fans, I just went, you know what? This is in line with what Cashman's doing, what Gene Afterman's doing, what the media is doing. And I can see a trend here. This is company policy to go after Yankee fans in order to cover up for Aaron Hicks. So why should I support that? And that's why I want to take this opportunity and say to the people that are Yankee fans that tune in, you guys are loyal and you guys deserve to have like content creators and people that have your back, because it's not fair that we're being ripped apart by the voice of the Yankees. I'm not going to support that. I never will support that, even though I fully appreciate Michael Kay. I think he's brilliant at what he does, and I've always been a fan of him. But I will not stand here and accept us being Hicks being compared to Anthony Volpe. That is cherry picking, and it's an insult to our intelligence.
Nobody can say it any better than that. I'm just telling you, why is it always got to be our fault? We don't want to, we want to boo Hicks because he sucks, but we also want something good positive to happen where we can actually maybe cheer for the guy. Why doesn't Hicks try to actually contribute to this club, and then he'll actually hear us rooting for him to do better? Hey, do that again, and we'll cheer for you again. That this crybaby mentality. I'm sorry, sports is competitive. If you're not playing to a competitive level, there's no need for you. You have no use. You have no value.
Let me just add that a few days ago, I don't know if you guys saw this, Tyler O'Neill for the St. Louis Cardinals was benched because he was not running to home plate and he was thrown out at home. And the manager, Oliver Marmol, says, we have an expectation. You don't play to that expectation, you're not going to play. I said, yeah, this is pretty much preach mentality right here.
Yeah, and just think about all the times that go back to last year, the infamous stand and moan look that he had on Derek Jeter Day. That's what everyone keeps going back to. Mm-hmm. You would think he said he came into the spring. He's got a new mindset. He got over last year after he blamed the manager and blamed the fans. And what did he proceed to do in the spring? Misplay like three plays in a matter of a week in spring training. You're like, he's the same exact player. And so far, he's had, 2 games to play. He hasn't done anything besides draw walks. That's all he is. He's just a guy that can draw a walk. So he's going to have a low average and maybe a decent on base, but his defense sucks. His base running isn't very good. And if he's healthy, he's not playing well. He had a couple of good months last year, and I gave him I paid a little respect towards his way. I was like, hey, he's actually playing well. Good for him. I was called crazy for doing that, but you know what? I gave him respect where it was due. But when you're not playing well and what all you want to do is just complain about it, it's like, I'm not going to support you. And I'm not going to support constantly being ripped apart. I don't want to come on the show and act angry and negative. The Yankees are winning games so far. It's been a good start. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to complain on the show. But when we're constantly attacked by the people that either work for the team or the voice of the team or media for the team, it makes it very difficult to be positive all the time, because it's like everything is because of us. Like, Aaron Hicks sucks. It's our fault. No, it isn't. Like, it's not our fault. So it needs to stop, and it makes being a fan difficult sometimes. I'm still going to root for this team no matter what. I'm still going to tune in every single day, but I'm sick of being attacked by the players or by the media saying everything is our fault when the team has had several chances to just move on from Aaron Hicks. It should have happened this offseason in any way possible. We've said this already, but we can't keep catering to players that keep whining. He's not playing. At least Gleyber Torres, who we had a big discussion about it yesterday, me and D-Rod, about being lazy and whatnot, he's come out and he's been outstanding. We already talked about this in the show. He's playing his way onto this team every single day. Aaron Hicks isn't, and so what you said about the Cardinals and benching a player, the Yankees had to be like, look, if you're not going to contribute, we can't play you. They shouldn't cater to players that are just going to wind their way onto the team. And that's what Aaron Hicks has been doing now for 2 straight years. And if he's not hurt, he's not playing well, and he's crying about it.
We traded for Hicks how long ago? What was it, 2015?
2015,
And we still haven't warmed up to him. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Is it our fault that for 7 years now he hasn't been able to give us anything to cheer about? Yeah, he made one play in Minnesota in that extra inning game with that phenomenal play in the outfield. Okay, I mean, I remember sitting up. I think it was 3:00 in the morning at that point, and I was like, finally, I can go to bed. But other than that, what the hell has he done? All he's done, he gets hurt and he complains. That's it.
Yeah, I also have an issue with the fact that he complained openly, and then suddenly he gets to start the next 2 games after he complained. Again, what kind of message does that send to people that work incredibly hard to earn the role and accept the role and do whatever it takes to help the team, but they get demoted in favor of someone who pisses and moans and cries and have done nothing to earn a role. So that's why I had a major issue with the fact that he started 2 games in a row right after pissing and moaning. So it's a strange message to send. But also on a pure if you take a step back and look at the roster, like, what upside does he give you at 33 years old with a limited range? He's a failed center fielder. He's been moved to left field, and he can't play left field because he's not good at it anymore. And he doesn't have power anymore. And he doesn't give you bad batting average or anything. He doesn't steal the bases, as Rob says. So there's nothing he gives you other than walks. What is the upside to him playing as opposed to, say, Ozzy, who's learning to become a good left fielder and was starting to heat up a little bit? He was got a couple of hits, and then he sat for 2 games in a row. Again, strange message to send. I know that the Yankees organization and analytics department don't believe in hot, but I completely disagree with that. And I think that there's more upside to giving Ozzy these starts in order for him to learn and develop and see what you have for him long term. Because if he gets hot and he gives you a really good season, that saves the Yankees a ton of issues going into next season. They don't need to look for a left field because they've already got one, right? And that's what I'm talking about. They should be looking. They should have a short plus a long-term view here. They've done it with Volpe, so that's what they need to do with left field. Like, give him an extended run. I want to see him get an extended run, work through some issues, and work through his issues in left field. He's getting better from what I've seen. He was shaky in the playoffs. But he's starting to look a little bit better this year in left field. Let's continue that. I want to see more of that. I want to see him develop and get better. You're not going to see Aaron Hicks get better. This is him, right? He is a nutcase. He's a head case. He's in his own head. He's upset all the time. He's best served to another organization with less pressure and a fan base that doesn't despise him. And then maybe he can sort out a niche role somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe Colorado. I don't care. But Like, he's done as a Yankee, and the Yankees need to stop beating a dead horse. It's done. Let's continue to develop Ozzy, and that would be a really positive start as far as I'm concerned. So I just didn't really agree with with once again that rotation with and again the optics of crying and then moaning about your role, and again attacking Aaron Boone, and then Aaron Boone gives you the job for the next 2 days. That's a really weird message to send, and I don't like that. I think it's from Brian Cashman more than Aaron Boone. I think Brian Cashman still makes these decisions up top. I really don't think Aaron Boone loves Aaron Hicks as much as Brian Cashman loves Aaron Hicks. I think Aaron Boone is kind of being forced to use him more than he probably wants to, because you can see it when who was the opening day left fielder? It wasn't Aaron Hicks. So I think that tells you everything. I don't think Boone loves Aaron Hicks that much. And I kind of feel for Boone that he's being forced into a corner that he has to continue to boost him up and then continue to play him, even though Aaron Hicks shows no respect towards him, no respect towards the team, and no respect towards his own profession.
Exactly. Before we wrap this up, I want to go around the table here, and as we're closing in on the first week of baseball, what are your overall thoughts and concerns? Whether or what do you think has been the most positive?
So I guess I'll step up first. Most positive, I would say what Gleyber Torres is doing right now, and I just want to add something real quick. Li's mad in the chat because nobody wants to accept his trade proposals. That's why he's calling Yankee fans.
I've been more entertained by Sunil and Nick going back and forth.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a little thing going on there, but Gleyber Torres definitely. Hopefully, he can keep this up. It'll be a little bit more consistent, more than he has in the past. So I'm rooting on that. I'm giving Volpe time. There's no timeline for at least me to start having higher expectations of him. What are my worries necessary? Well, I mean, Garrett Cole also as well. That's really positive right there. As far as worries go, I would say consistency of the offense, because that always seems to be a Yankee issue. Hopefully we don't see, a game where the Yankees score like 2 runs and get bailed out by pitching and a ton of strikeouts. But the outfield, I mean, this whole thing with Aaron Hicks is, it's going to go on for a while. I don't know when it's going to stop. But I guess we have to deal with it at this point for right now. And this is not me saying, I like Aaron Hicks or whatever, but I've just been used to it because the Yankees and the whole Yankees propaganda machine, they like to make excuses for that. And I'm also a little worried about the bullpen, but I think that's going to come around even so when the actual starting pitching like Rodon and Severino come back.
Yep. I'll just also go after LI. We're not hypocrites because we don't want to trade DJ LeMahieu. Like that's what we've been telling you for months.
Or Josh
now.
Donaldson for Patrick Corbin.
That too. That makes me want to slam a hammer against my head. But we're not trading DJ LeMahieu. It's a different story if you were just mentioning let's trade Donaldson to clear a spot for Peraza. Absolutely, I'd sign up for that 10 times out of 10. Just not for Patrick Corbin. You're trying to trade DJ to clear up a spot for Peraza. DJ, a really good player who's contributing to this team since he's been here. When he's on the field, he's one of our best hitters. That's all I need to say. Once again, to hold like we're hypocrites because we don't want to trade DJ. It just makes no sense. Anyway, Garrett Cole's great. I loved what I saw from Brito. I can't wait to see him back. Bullpen, I'm not too concerned about. Just some things that need to be worked out from a couple of guys. Gleyber Torres has been outstanding, and I'm glad to see it because I do believe he still wants to be here for his career. I'm hoping that maybe he forces the Yankees to make something happen here, whether it's they got to choose him or the kid, Peraza or Torres. Do they give him an extension or they say, okay, well, we're going to trade you at the end of the season or something like that when his value could even be more up? We'll see what happens there, but it's going to make the organization have to think about something for once, which is either a good or a bad thing. Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. That's my captain. He's done everything right so far. Stanton's looked fine. Rizzo's looked fine. And we'll see what they decide to do with this Donaldson thing. Is he out for a while or is he going to just sit on the bench till he's 100% ready to go? But so far, so good. And I think we need to take care of business against Baltimore and just keep on winning series. So far, nothing to complain about.
So where I'm at with this team is I'm actually very positive. A lot more positive than I envisaged especially during the offseason, considering it was kind of a barren period after all the excitement of bringing back Rizzo, bringing back Aaron Judge, signing Rodon, and then nothing happened for months on end, even though we still had these major issues. And I was starting to get a little bit pissed off. But then I woke up and I decided, you know what? I'm going to give this team an opportunity because, listen, we are all blessed as Yankee fans that we get to watch our team compete every day and be good. And it's easy to overlook, right? So I decided to give them a fresh pair of eyes and not be jaded. And it's worked out because I think the Yankees have played very, very well for the most part. I think they played fine yesterday, and the first 3 games, 2 out of the 3, they were as good as you could ask for. Pitched a shutout, and offensively they were looking really good. Guys that are jumping out to me: Gleyber Torres has been excellent. DJ LeMahieu, sorry Li, your most hated guy is actually freaking phenomenal. Really happy to see him do well. I'm not worried about Stanton or Rizzo. I think they've had their moments already this year. And Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball, man. I mean, I've given you guys the graphic that Aaron Judge has 30 more home runs than the next guy since 2018. Like, he is on another planet. He is on another level. There's no one close to him. I don't want to hear Ohtani. I don't want to hear about Mike Trout. I don't want to hear anything because Aaron Judge is on a level all to himself with his numbers. Plus, he's on a 38 game on base streak, which hasn't been mentioned yet today. He's only 4 away from Tejera's record. So I'm fully confident that he's going to go and break that, actually. And in that span, I think he's batting like 348. So, like, there's like, Aaron Judge is just incredible. He's mind blowing, actually, to be honest. And we're very, very privileged as Yankee fans that we get to watch him every day. So, again, it's easy to forget about because, listen, a lot of us have seen the Yankee dynasty. A lot of us saw the thousands, and I think there's an element of the fact that we have maybe gotten a little bit spoiled by it, but this is still a very, very good team. And I think there's a lot to be excited about this year. As I've mentioned, offensively, I'm happy with them. Defensively, this is the best they've looked. Apart from that outfield alignment that Aaron Boone put together the other day, that made no sense to me. So I think there's a ton of positives. Garrett Cole looks the best he's pitched since he's become a Yankee, as far as I'm concerned, these last 2 starts. And if you want to include the playoffs as well, I thought he was awesome in the playoffs. So that's great. Nestor Cortez looks great. Brito, fine. Schmidt, fine. And we're going to get Rodon back. So I'm not worried about the starting rotation. Bullpen, I am a little concerned about because it seems to be a little injury prone. And they all seem to be prone to mechanical issues. So that's maybe one minor concern. My only major concern is actually over rotation. I don't want to see Aaron Boone continually changing the lineup. And, I mean, I'm okay 1 or 2 guys just in order to rotate here and there. If you want to give somebody a day off, move them to DH, I don't care about that. But what we saw the other day against the Phillies, where he took out half the team and he was IKF at center field, Aaron Hicks in there, it gave us no chance. It gave us no chance. And again, I think that's a kick in the teeth to Yankee fans who pay good money to go to Yankee Stadium. And then half the batting order is a bunch of guys out of position and that have no business being in the lineup. So I think if you want to do that, you do that on the road after you've won the first 2 games of a series and the third game's a wash in a long road series. I understand. But at home, first week of the year, I don't think you should be doing that. So that's actually my only concern, because then I think it hurts your momentum. So I really hope that they won't change that, but certainly I don't think that's something that we should be doing anymore, because I thought that was a sucky lineup. It was really hard to watch. And again, but that's what it is. It's baseball, man. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't overlook. Like, you can't just focus on one game, because the next game we go and do a really nice job as we did yesterday. So far, so really, really good. I'm really happy. Volpe, again, same with Alex. Not worried about Volpe. I'm calling him Anthony Voltage. I think he's been excellent at the bottom of the order. Still hoping that he gives you a little bit more offense, but he will. And again, that's a complete contradiction to what Michael Kay depicts Yankee fans as these mean-spirited people. Where actually, no, I'm very, very patient with Volpe, and I'm giving him as long a leash as he possibly is required, because he's our future shortstop, and I'm completely behind him. No pressure there. So all positive as far as I'm concerned. Just a couple minor issues, but all in all, I think it's been a great start to the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just end up repeating everything that you guys have said. I'll keep it short and sweet. I think what I've been really positive about is the strong start from Cole. I like the fact that you have Torres and LeMahieu both looking like they're supposed to and playing to a high level. I think that's a big plus. The concern for me is, like we talked about earlier, the bullpen needs to, get a little more confidence in themselves. I think, especially, with King and Holmes with the injuries, I think they'll figure it out. So I'm not overly concerned about the rough start to their seasons. I'll throw Loizaga in there too. I just want to see them move it forward. And then there's just the whole situation with the outfield. When you have to use IKF as a center fielder, that's not something that makes you jump up and down for joy. And so I would love to. I really want to see Bader come back so we can actually see what the plan is going to be going forward. And you have a request in the chat, Alex.
What,
So
Michael Kay?
why don't you do your Michael Kay impersonation and sign us off?
All right. Oh God. All right. I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot here.
Look at the Pitch Strike Chronicles.
Yeah. All right. I got to get into the mode. Well, I'm going to try my best. It's not going to be the best because people are sleeping in the same room. But all right. My self-confidence is pushing myself down. Anyway, see ya. Something like that.
All right.
Something along those lines. I could do it better, but
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us. Alex, again, thank you for coming to hang out. We got to do this again. And if you're not following Big Blue in the Bronx, head over to their channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell when you know when they're doing their live shows and their streams. It's a phenomenal chat, phenomenal panel. So like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And
Please
as
do.
always, wear your pinstripes, your pride, and play hard.